example 5 on page 18 of the textbook. We wanted to solve the equation example 3 by graphing each side of the equation. So if you have your textbook, you can look at that. Basically, the equation is 10 plus 6t equals 40. And the textbook shows the graph. Well, how would we create that graph here? If you'll take a look at that graph, it shows the x scale going from 0 to 10 and the y scale going from 0 to 70. So let's go under Window and set our window. I'd like not running 0 on the very left side of the graph, so I'm going to actually start with negative 10. And then I'm going to go up to 80, on the x-axis, up to 12. And the tick marks in the book are every 2, so we could set our scaling to 2. And then on the y-axis, let's go from negative 10 up to, let's do 80. And the tick marks in the book are every 10, so I'll actually set the scale for 10. Now, if we go into the y equals menu, they suggested that we graph the left side. Let y1 be 10 plus, the book says 6t, but on the calculator we're going to use an x. So 10 plus 6, and this xt theta n key will give you your x. And the other side, the right-hand side of the expression is 40. So we've entered those two items. We set our window, so we should be good just to graph. And there we are. Now, all right. Now, we want to find this intersection point. There are two ways to find that intersection point. One way is to use the trace button. So if we press trace, you'll notice this little spider appears on the line, and if we arrow to the right, it moves up the line, and we can get it very close to the intersection point. And if we look down, it seems to be approximately x 4.9787234 and y equals 39.87234. Now, in the book, they work this problem, and we can see that that's actually 540. So this is a very close approximation, but we can get even closer if we let the calculator figure out where that intersection is, and we do that by using the blue key with the trace to get us into the calculate mode. And you'll notice option 5 is intersect, so you press that, and then it's going to ask you some questions. Like right now we're sitting on the graph 10 plus 6x, and that's our first curve. Well, that works fine, so let's just press enter and confirm that as our first curve. Now we're sitting on y2 equals 40, which is our second curve. That's correct, so we'll enter that, and then it wants us to guess the value, and we're sitting right on it, so let's just enter that to let that be our guess. And then the calculator figures the intersection, and notice it found it to be 540. One thing to remember about using the calculator or a computer is that when you have it find the intersection, this may very well be approximate. If we plug in 5 to the left side of the equation, then we'll see that 40 is the value of 10 plus 6t, or 6x, and that is exactly what we want. So this is an exact solution, but don't jump to that conclusion without doing a little checking, because calculators often give you approximate answers. So that is the setup of the calculator and drawing two graphs and finding the intersection.